Hello, my name is Peter Simpson. I'm a psychologist and the Managing Director of BSS. This is one of a series of short videos dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. This video is about protecting your important relationships throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. So how does COVID-19 impact on our relationships? Well, it increases pressure because it creates uncertainty and fear about things like health and employment. Increases stress and anxiety, especially people prone to those things. Changing family roles. For example, you may have to work from home. You or your partner may need to school your children. It disrupts daily routines, increasing the amount of time families spend together. This can be both a positive and a negative. How do we go about nurturing our relationships? Well, create opportunities to be alone together. These are times when you can concentrate on you, not on all of the practical things that you will be required to do. Be willing to share your thoughts and feelings regularly, particularly in times of heightened stress. If one partner clams up, it places lots of strain on the relationship. Develop mutual trust by planning together and treating each other's feelings and thoughts as important. Talk about your relationship. Keep up the physical contact. Share some time together, even if it's walking and talking. Equally important is to make sure you both have some alone time. Couples thrive when there's a healthy balance between time spent together and time spent apart. We all need time on our own. So creating separate spaces, however, is going to be more difficult. So you need to find ways to be alone for, say, an hour or maybe 2 hours each day. Tell your partner when you need alone time, except when your partner requests a similar break. Sometimes we can get anxious if the other party doesn't want to be with us. If you understand that everyone needs a little bit of alone time, it will be easier on you both. Focus on the short term and develop plans together. So anxiety is fed by two key things: fear of the unknown, which is lack of information, and a loss of control. So planning together will help address both those things. Remind each other to take one day at a time. Create short-term plans to address important issues. How will we structure our finances during this period? How will we cope with the kids? What will we do about their schooling? So work on those practical short to medium term things. Work out ways to take care of the essentials like the things that I have just mentioned. Cut your partner some slack. We're all going to lose a little bit of sleep. We're all going to have a little bit more stress, and that can lead to us behaving in ways which perhaps aren't up to our usual standard. Important to understand that prolonged stress can lead to mood swings. We can be up and down. So if your partner's behaviour has changed, pay attention to how he or she is feeling. Remember not to take it personally. If you're concerned, simply ask your partner how they're feeling. Be direct and open. Accept his or her answer. Sometimes that might be, I just need some alone time. Accept that, check back later on. Remember, no one is perfect. In these difficult times, kindness is going to be important. Hold yourself in check. If you feel like shouting or criticising, take a deep breath, step back. Remind yourself that your partner is doing his or her best, just as you are. Make it a point to be polite. Say please and thank you to each other, even for little things. Tell jokes, laugh when you can. Different family members might be more or less impacted. It's important to realise this and to take it into account. People who may respond more strongly to the stress of a crisis include older people, people with chronic diseases who are at higher risk of COVID-19, children and teens. It's important to realise that a large part of their emotional response will be determined by how they see the adults around them responding. People who are helping with the response to the crisis, people like healthcare providers, first responders or teachers, people who are more likely to be exposed to the illness. And lastly, and most importantly, people who have existing mental health conditions such as anxiety and depression. In the next slide, we're actually going to talk about that. So how do we help a family member who already has a problem with anxiety? Firstly, recognise that the situation is likely to increase anxiety levels. Now that means that they may appear to have a setbacks or a relapse, but accept that that's normal. Try to keep your mood and manner towards the person as positive as possible. Talk to your family member about how the public health requirements, hand washing, social distancing and so on, can fit into their current treatment. Watch if your family member seems to be excessively seeking reassurance from you. You'll know this because they'll ask the same questions repeatedly, they'll ask in a pressured way, or they need you to answer in the correct way, the right way, which gives them reassurance. If the person is starting to obsess or seek excessive reassurance, try to keep them in the present. Get them to examine, well, what do you think the risk is? Get them to do things, practical things like preparing meals or other chores. Limit exposure to media discussing the coronavirus, particularly social media, and encourage the person to seek help. Now this could either be through their doctor or through the Employee Assistance Program. It's also important to support your children through this period. Talk about COVID with them. Accept your child's feelings and concerns and provide realistic reassurance to them. Talk about what doctors are doing to keep us healthy. Talk about how scientists are working hard to learn about the virus and control it. Maintain routines. Routines are important for all children. If routines are disrupted, for example, the school closes, then create a new routine and help them adjust to that. Model good coping strategies yourself. Do some activities together as a family. For example, you might read some books together, you might play games, you might make a schedule to do video calls to older relatives such as their grandparents. Manage your child's information consumption, particularly restrict their viewing of this issue on social media. It's important that both of you give children the same messages. If children hear different messages from each parent, that will be confusing and anxiety provoking. And lastly, take care of yourselves. It's important to do that so you can take care of those you love. During the COVID-19 crisis, professional counselling is available through your EAP providers. If you're in Western Australia, South Australia or Victoria, contact BSS Employee Assistance, 1800 30 30 90. If you're in Queensland or New South Wales, contact Griffin Psychology, 1800 056 076. Counselling is available 24/7 by phone and video.